They combine with other sewage in the pipes and become the clog. This is the monster you created.
I didn't know.
Next time, save yourself the headache and the repair bill and throw those flushable wipes in the trash.
What? Oh my... Tammy, do you see how much this is gonna cost us?
Don't feed the clog monster. If it's not toilet paper, don't flush it.
Hello, Mother. Something smells good.
Good morning, sweetie. I'm making breakfast for you. Can you clean the bacon pan for me?
Sure thing. No, Billy, don't do it. It's bad for your pipes and bad for the environment.
Don't listen to him, Billy. Just pour it down the drain and forget about it. What's a little grease going to do?
Actually, there's a lot that grease can do to damage your home and the environment. Picture this. When you decide to pour fats, oils, or grease down the drain, you are letting those substances harden up and stick to your pipe walls, causing clogs and backups in your home that can eventually lead to expensive repairs. And can also cause gross smells and a nasty situation for your neighborhood and the environment.
You can smell it.
Instead, when the substance cools down, stick it in a plastic container. Make sure the lid is sealed tight and drop it off at your nearest cooking oil recycling station in Hillsborough County. That way, you're helping the environment and saving your family money, so they can buy you that new skateboard you've always wanted.
All right.
It's a win-win for everyone.
New skateboard? Oh, yeah. Your way is definitely better than mine. Let's recycle that grease.
For more information on how you can recycle your fats, oils, or grease, visit hcflgov.net/core.
Welcome to a meeting of your Planning Commission, the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Good evening. Welcome to the January 13th, 2020 public hearing of the Planning Commission on Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan amendments. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation are encouraged. If you will, please sign the register at the rear of the room and turn off any devices that may be a distraction. If you wish to address the commission on a specific amendment, we ask that you please complete the appropriate public comment sign-in sheet at the back of the room. When addressing the commission, please begin with your name, address, and speak directly into the microphone. For those of you who are not familiar with our process, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to respond with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the commission. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will then ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. Roll call, please.
Bernstein. Here. Cardenas. Present. Dickerson. Dix. Here. Dowdy.
Here.
Green.
Present.
Joseph.
Here.
Kress. Here. Moreno. Here. Powell. Here. Rodriguez.
Here.
Thrower.
Here. Okay, thank you. We are going to jump right into our one item today. It's Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendment 19-08.
Thank you, Krista Kelly, Planning Commission staff. Today, or this evening, I'm presenting Comprehensive Plan Amendment 1908. This is a map amendment. It's privately initiated. The site is located just inside of the urban service area on the southeast portion of the county. It is within the boundary of the South Shore Area-Wide System Plan, and specifically, it's on the north side of Lithia Pinecrest Road, west of Browning Road. Here's an aerial of the site, and as you can see, it's within the urban service boundary. It's 15.94 acres in size, and currently it's undeveloped. It's adjacent to Fishhawk Trails, which is this subdivision to the north of it, and this is Fishhawk Ranch, a little bit more dense. Outside the urban service area, you can see the area is predominantly agricultural with rural home sites. This is the adopted future land use map, and as you can see, the site's currently designated public, quasi-public. Fishhawk Trails is designated Residential Plan 2 or RP2. Outside the urban service area, you see the area designated Residential 1 and Agricultural 1 to 5. Up in the northeast corner, this area is natural preservation. This is an extended view of the area, and we put this on to show that within the urban service area, there's not only RP2 surrounding the site, but further within the boundary, you can see residential 2, that's the yellow color, and then residential 4 up a little bit to the north. You can see the transition of intensities from the central portion of the urban service boundary towards the fringe. The applicant's requesting a change to residential 2. It's the bright yellow color. While it does seem distinct from the surrounding RP2, it does allow the same density of 2 units per acre. The impact of this change, currently RP2 does not allow residential development, public quasi-public does not allow residential development, and it does allow non-residential uses geared towards public facilities and services, and the floor area ratio is based on the surrounding plan categories. The change would introduce our residential 2 that would allow up to 31 dwelling units. Currently, the site does not meet locational criteria. However, if a waiver were permitted, it would allow a 0.25 floor area ratio. Staff reviewed it for consistency and found that it was consistent with the county's growth management strategy. It directs development into the urban growth areas as defined by the urban service area. It encourages growth concurrent in areas with urban services, and it promotes development that's compatible and complementary to the scale and character of the surrounding area. Further, it allows for infill within the suburban development pattern established within the urban service area, and it provides for a gradual transition in density and intensity from the adjacent areas into the rural service area. Based on these findings, staff recommends that the proposed map amendment, CPA 1908, be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the future of Hillsborough's comprehensive plan. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Would the applicant like to speak on this item?
Oops, I'm sorry. Thought I was getting rid of it for you.
Commissioners, good evening. Jake Kramer with Stearns Weaver Miller, 401 East Jackson Street, number 2100. We have our land planner, Isabel Albert, here. She's going to take you through the details quickly tonight. I think we're going to be able to let y'all get out of here for an early dinner. But just wanted to kind of set the scene. This is really it's really an infill application here of just what we've been hearing the county commission is wanting. That's what this is. It's seeking to change the property to a residential land use category for a parcel really that's orphaned otherwise. The school board surplused this parcel before my client bought it. And so really right now it can't be used for much. The school board didn't want it. And there's really no other ideal use for this property other than residential. So we have engaged with the Fishhawk community on this. And we're going to continue to work with them through the process and then the rezoning after that. So with that, I'll turn this over to Isabel.
Good evening, Isabel Albert with Half Associates, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Tampa, Florida. Start this right here. You have access to this. This is the comprehensive plan amendment, and I'm here representing the client, Reed, to help him out to go through this. I wanted to go a little bit through the site history quickly. This site is located within the Fishhawk DRI and as well as a planned development. This has been planned development since 1989, and it's also located within the urban service area. Now, when you were looking at the site plan, it was always anticipated to have a school within this whole Fishhawk development. And over the years, as it moved around on the required needs, this use was moved around from here and over here, and then finally it rested over here. But during all this time, the area here was always approved for single family and townhomes. And the DRI, as well as the planned development, recognized that there was a potential that this is not going to be utilized as a school, and that could be converted for residential use. And that has always been transferred from development orders throughout the years. And then finally, the school board purchased this in 1989-2000. At that time, when they purchased the site, it was a comprehensive plan as RP2, which is the residential plan, 2 units to the acre, as it was part of the Fishhawk development that was also a comprehensive plan with RP2. And then in 2012, Planning Commission staff was directed to do a land use comprehensive study throughout the county and then identify sites that were non-residential or in nature, and then to convert them to public and quasi-public. And this is what happened to this specific site, where the school board site went from RP2 to public quasi-public. However, by doing that, forgot to realize that the public quasi-public does not allow residential use, although that the development order, the DRI, and the plan development allowed for that use specifically on site. So when the school board deemed this site unusable and it was not appropriate for a school, put it on the market, and it just so happened that our client, Reed, I think was a lucky person to take a look at this site and include it in his development. And the reason why I say that is because, as we know, this is a site over here. So client purchased this site to the east and went through a plan development in 2018 and got it approved for single-family home, half-acre lots. And then during this planning, the school board site came up, and he looked at it and it's like, you know what, this would be perfect to include this as part of this bigger plan development, have the main access here, continue this buffering, 50-foot buffer along here, and being a curvature road and the access on there would be a bit difficult. So this was a win-win situation for everybody. And so this is why we're here today, is just to allow the uses on the property in order to finish the overall development. I'm here if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this item? Okay, no public comment. Any questions from commissioners? Commissioner Kress?
I just have a comment that goes back to our meeting earlier. This might have been an example of a map that could show some ELAP property and, you know, critical corridors that they had in mind. I'm not saying that this is one, but that just might be an example to kind of what Derek and I were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I made a note in future reviews to include that.
Sure.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Commissioner Powell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm familiar with this area because I live out there. And one question that I have, but I guess we don't have anyone from the school board here, but I was curious why, if anyone knows, they deemed the site something that they don't want, because I know that schools are kind of a problem out there, and there's just more and more growth going that way. So I'm surprised that the school board did not want the site.
Well, we actually asked, I don't know, Krista, if you have a copy of the email that Amber sent, but when Amber said she wasn't going to be able, Ms. Dickerson said she wasn't going to be able to be here, we anticipated that question, and I don't know if you printed out the email, but I can pull it up, what she said.
Well, Melissa's looking for that. Any other comments or questions?
But the schools are actually already sold it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's what she said. There were a number of contributing factors as to why we decided to surplus the property. First, access. Lithia Pinecrest is not ideal access point due to traffic. Additionally, the property is situated on a curve. The access point could be dangerous. Lastly, schools in this specific area have a huge amount of students that are transported in personal vehicles instead of riding buses. Therefore, the traffic circulation would be a major issue with limited space on site to alleviate congestion at peak times. 2, the location to existing schools. The site is in very close proximity to existing schools, and she provided a map. It would be a challenge to assign students to this school geographically due to the close proximity of other schools. So there definitely is a capacity need, but the capacity where the growth is happening is a little bit more to the southwest of this site, so it would be hard to shift people around, I guess. Third, impact fees and growth. We have very limited capital funds collecting only half the cost of school construction from impact fees. So we need to be very strategic allocating funds to our highest needs areas, and this is not the highest need area. And 4, budget issues. Staff was asked to look at all sites that could be possibly surplus to increase our budget for increasing capital needs.
Just find it, just like the irony of, it seems like there's never any public like, school, like, capacity, and like they have a site and they sold it. So I was just curious why, but, I mean, I'll support the project, but I just did not know why there was.
That's,
Any other questions? Someone like to make a motion? Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah, at this time, Mr. Chair, I would move that we adopt and approve the proposed plan use map amendment request 19-08 as consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Okay. Got a motion by Commissioner Bernstein, second by Commissioner Joseph. Any further discussion before we vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And that is it, right? Yep. Meeting's adjourned. Thanks.